And so even though you could have all of these wonderful friends and a great community, you can still feel really lonely because nobody quite gets it. Nobody gets the pressure, nobody gets the demands. And it can be an isolating feeling.
Hi, Anna. Do you think people are listening? Yeah, why wouldn't they be? We make business so fun, don't we? In that case, let's introduce ourselves. Hey, it's Anna and Selena and the 15-ish minute coffee chat podcast. Talking business doesn't have to be boring. So dive into our coffee chat conversations and learn something new for your small business.
Hi, and welcome to season 14 of the 15-ish minute coffee chat, a conversation providing tips for every entrepreneur and business owner.
All right. So Kate, you know what? I'm scared to say her last name because I didn't confirm and watch me say it wrong. Sorry, Kate, but we're gonna have her say that when she pops on. But Kate is a mom of two, military spouse, and rescue dog addict, ocean lover, and founder of Rogue Wave. She makes beach toys from compostable, plant-based plastic. After a day at the beach with her boys and almost losing their conventionality, made plastic beach toys for Rogue Wave, Kate decided not contributing to plastic pollution in our oceans wasn't enough. She needed to be part of the solution. As a fellow Hawaiian, I love this so much. Kate got to work ideating, designing, prototyping, redesigning, and eventually manufacturing patented beach toys using proprietary plastic that turns into compost when you're done with it, which means no microplastics. If you have ever been on a beach in Hawaii, it is sad and there are many cleanups. And I love that she is creating something. She has created something to kind of combat that. So it is more about being at the beach and enjoying the beautifulness of nature and not wondering why your blanket is sitting on hard plastic that has been beat up and washed up onto the beach. So when Kate's not changing the way we make plastic, she's teaching spin classes for an online spin app, surfing small waves with friends, hiking the trails of Oahu, cheering her boys at soccer and lacrosse games, or teaching Spanish. Oh, okay, you guys, I am so excited. I say this all the time. You know, I'm from Hawaii, so when we had a Hawaii guest be like, "Hey, I wanna come on the show," my heart just was like, "Yes."
Yeah, and what a
I'm
good
excited.
mission she has with her
Oh my
company
gosh.
too. Like the sustainability side speaks well to my Oregon-born heart, right? And
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
a sustainability factor. So I'm really excited to kind of learn like more about her process of how she got into this. Does she
Yeah.
have background train, all that kind of stuff. It's going to be
Right.
really fun to kind of like dive into how she went from one thing to another and where she's at now and all the cool things
Yeah.
she's doing with this.
Yeah, I have to share one more thing about just like, growing up in Hawaii, it was very common. You didn't just throw your plastic rings from like your soda cans in the trash. You cut every ring so that if that somehow made it into the ocean, that piece did not get caught on a fish or a turtle or some kind of sea animal. And I found myself doing that the other day, even though I'm many, many miles away from the Pacific or Atlantic Ocean. It's a habit, but I think it's knowing that there are more than just you, right? And that's what Kate
Yeah.
has done with this company. And I'm really kind of just I love that. Anna, what is our call to action question we want to ask people today?
Well, so the whole reason that we're having Kate come on today is she's going to talk about 4 tips to staying sane as an
Mhm.
entrepreneur. Okay, so it's
Yeah.
not even really about the alternative materials she's using or anything like that, but really like that whole process and going from one thing to another, and just keeping your mindset and the balance
Yeah.
in your business happening even during that time frame. So our call to action today, we want to know from everybody who's listening right now, drop in the comments right now. How do you or what do you do, right? How do you stay sane as an entrepreneur? Like, so I camp. I'm a camper. I love the outdoors. I love to go intense. I like to go hike. I like to carry a backpack, like all those things. That's where I get that chance to take a deep breath
Oh,
and have a minute to myself. Selena,
she
what do
sends
you
me she sends me text message that says, "Hey, there's a tarantula in my boot this morning before I put my foot in." And I'm like, "Never camping here in Texas. This Hawaii girl does not know how to do that. We don't have tarantulas in Hawaii. We don't have snakes in Hawaii. Anyway, see, I get anxiety. Mine is what I know this is awful. I love watching just trash reality TV
I
because
think
it's,
that's okay.
yeah,
So
and I drink a lot of coffee.
it's
So
not really about the like I think a lot of it is about taking the time. We're not actually we're I'm not even
no,
going to say this because we're
yeah,
not getting into it till Kate is up
no,
here.
yeah.
Let's
So okay, let me bring up her slide, Anna, so you can share more about her.
All right. So Kate is a mom of two, a military spouse, and a rescue dog addict, which I love. She's the founder of Rogue Waves, makes beach toys from compostable plant-based plastic. So we talked a little bit already about how this came about, a day at the beach with her boys. When she got to work ideating, designing, and prototyping, and then redesigning and eventually manufacturing patented beach toys using proprietary plastic that turns into compost when you're done with it, which means no microplastics. I love this part of it, right? And we're going to definitely talk about how that process started. I want to know if she's a scientist at heart or trained or what, right? So, anyway, we're excited to have Kate join us up on stage now. Are we ready to go ahead and do that? Selena, you are muted, but I'm going to bring Kate up with her without her conversation voice.
Welcome, Kate. Thanks for coming on to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. What an introduction. And I have to say, I also have these 3 crazy rescue dogs here in my office, so they may also be making a guest appearance.
Great.
You're
Great.
welcome. We love puppies joining us.
Yeah, I'm sure Coco in the background barking and alerting everybody in the neighborhood that something is at the door. Probably got your dogs to be like, oh, somebody's talking to us, you know?
Yeah, that's just our way of life
Yeah.
now.
Good. Thank you for understanding. Anna
Yeah,
too has a dog, but they're way much more behaved at her home than they are here.
Yeah, the front door rang before we came on the show, actually. So the barking's already happened. We're good to
Got
go
it.
on my end.
Okay.
All right.
Got
Before
it.
we get too far in, Kate, please tell us how to say your last name.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Okay. It's Kate Reimann.
Kate
Yep. I
Reimann.
would have
How
said
were
it
you
wrong.
going to say it, Selena? Oh,
I
yeah,
was
here
gonna
you go.
I
A
was
lot
gonna
of
say
people get it wrong.
Raymond. I was like
Yeah, that's
Raymond,
very
but I was like,
common. Yeah.
yeah, that double N though. I was like, what if the double N change? And I, as you could see and watch me struck, I'm like, nope, I'm gonna ask wait, say it one more time
Reimann.
because my
Reimann.
Raymond.
Reimann.
Reimann. Oh,
Ryman.
look, there I went and said it wrong. Reimann.
Ryman.
We will get it by
Ryman.
the end of this show, I promise.
Yeah.
And we'll
Yeah.
even put a pronunciation guide in our show notes. So everybody, then they talk to you. They're like, hey, Kate Ryman, we know how to say your name.
Yeah,
Okay, and
don't
Selena,
say it
do
the
or
way.
not.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, before we get started, we want to do our coffee cup selfie or any cup that is near you. I, of course,
I'm ready.
because Kate is here from Hawaii today, I brought my Hawaii Starbucks mug just because,
Cute.
of course, I had one.
Yeah.
And what is she bringing up? As I suspected.
Oh,
Yes. Oh my God, I need that. I need that so I can drink in front of my husband with that cup.
Right.
Anyway.
And I just have
Okay.
my
Yep.
favorite colored with the queen top. So
Hey, look,
cheers.
it's great.
Oh, wait, I'm going to put
yeah.
this right here.
Yep.
And I'm going
Okay,
to
wait, hold on.
I'm moving her. I got it.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
good.
Got it. Okay. On 3. 1, 2, 3. All right. That's our
Perfect.
imaginary photographer. And I'm going to put us in that talk mode and let's go.
Yeah. Okay. So, Kate, we wanted to really kind of start off with your story because it's really fascinating to me. It's not often that somebody gets an idea or, has an experience like what you were talking about being on the beach with your children, right? And then taking that experience and creating an entire business out of it. That's amazing. So, our very first question today is how do you go from ghostwriting for politicians to creating beach toys from alternative products?
I love this question because I don't really know the answer. I think I'm a really curious person and I think I'm a really driven person. And I think those two characteristics combined, we were stationed, my husband was stationed at the Pentagon Air Force at the time, and we were living just outside of DC, and I had sort of found my way into a career in writing. I have a master's degree in education and a degree in political science and Spanish, and had intended on being a teacher, but then had my son, was home with him, started writing, caught some attention, and then was asked to start sort of speech writing. And that led to these opportunities I could have never dreamed of, which included these ghostwriting opportunities. So it was great. I was doing it from home, sort of at my own pace. I felt very fulfilled. And then we went to the beach, as we had done many times before. But this one time, this one moment, everything just kind of clicked. And it was like, what are we doing? Why are we not trying to make this better? Why are we not trying to, at least with these products that we're bringing straight to the ocean, why are we not trying to alleviate a little bit of this by considering an alternative? And I think that is also based in sort of years of this like background knowledge, right? Just keeping up with the news and seeing what's going on. Like I knew plastic was a huge problem, particularly in our oceans. And I don't know, there was something about that moment where I felt, I don't want to say inspired. It was more like I felt like I had to do something.
Yeah.
Like,
It was like you were
I,
compelled. I feel like that
yes,
we're compelled, right?
yes. And it was another, it was like, I'm sure someone's doing this already, right? Surely someone is trying to do this. So after that beach trip, I was at home on the computer, like after everyone was in bed, trying to see what was out there, who's doing what are the alternatives, and it just sort of snowballed. And it was like, okay, well, if not me, who's going to do it, right? And I became really determined. Like, we need options. We at least need options.
I feel like with your
Yeah.
background working with politicians, like in my mind, you would have gone to let's talk policy, let's start advocating, let's get out there onto Capitol Hill and, save the oceans kind of like thing. But you didn't do that. Like, you're like, no, you know what? I'm going to create a
That
whole new
probably would have been the
material.
smarter way to go, Anna.
But I love that you didn't just like, I'm not going to say the easy path because that's not even an easy path either,
No.
right? But it's the in my mind the logical one you would have gone just based on what you had been doing. Instead, you deviated completely to a whole nother thing of not only am I going to advocate for it, but I'm going to create the product. I'm going to make sure it's available so that
Yeah.
people who feel like me can have a solution that they can go to. And that
Mhm.
that to me just shows a strength in character, entrepreneurship, brains. I
Yeah.
mean, like there's so many different things that's tied to that. I just want to I don't know, 2 thumbs up,
Yeah.
Kate.
Aw,
Like, really
Thanks.
amazing.
yeah. I love that
Thanks.
you did. Yeah. I love that you created something that you could do with your kids while they were still younger. And do you know what I mean? And there's an appreciation. I know we talked earlier about the ages, and I'm sure they're beyond the beach toy part, right? But
Yes.
the thing is, you wanted to create it for, before they were like,
Generations.
before
Yeah,
they
I
were
mean,
parents.
definitely
Yeah.
did not expect it was going to take this long when I first
Yeah.
started. Really did anticipate that my kids would be, and they did, for, sort of to humor me. They played with them for a little while, but they were actually really integral in my product testing phase. I know I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but it's someone asked me a question the other day, and I was reflecting on this, and like the business really did grow alongside my children.
Mm.
And when I was 3D printing prototypes here in our home office, and then we would take them to the beach and the kids would play with them. And like our sifter, the handle kept breaking and kept breaking on all of the prototypes. And I'm like, this design is flawed because my kids are not super rambunctious children. And they were even breaking this thing, just, sifting it. So they were really important in like iterating and design, and they've been at every single photo shoot. So they've been,
I love
they've been
that.
a massive part of it. So that has been, I'm glad that I stuck to what was important to me when they were little, and, worked from home when I could, and, sort of said no to some opportunities that would have been, I think, really interesting as well. But were in office full time, and that was not what I wanted at that point in time. And I think it all just sort of lended itself to this the opportunity to sit and think and solve a problem.
Yeah.
Which, I say that like it was this overnight thing, but it took, many years of research and development and trial and error and frustrated tears and a lot of second thoughts, to this
Man, I
day. And
could.
I think that's really normal with entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
right?
I could fill an ocean with my tears of entrepreneurship. So,
Okay,
I,
I love this
yeah,
story because really,
yeah,
like we wanted to ask this question first because we wanted people to understand that it's not like you had a science degree or you were an oceanographer, or this was like the passion you'd always like lended yourself to in that sense. Like it was a moment where you had this epiphany. I can't remember what we called it, but like that compelled, you were compelled to make a difference. And then you did it. And so you said, how many years did it take you, Kate? Like how
Ooh,
from
so
start
that day at the beach was 2016. And then I spent about a year just sort of doing some like soft research, kind of emailing people, hey, what do you think about this? And maybe I could do this. And then I officially registered as a business in Hawaii in 2017. And then from there, it was like prototyping, getting the designs made, prototyping the material. Does the material work in a 3D printer? Okay, yes, this works. And then taking it to the beach, redesigning. And then we launched a spectacularly massive Kickstarter campaign that failed spectacularly as well. And then that sort of push to, I was so devastated, but I had so overestimated what I thought we could make on this Kickstarter. But what I gained from that was like really massive consumer buy-in and support. Like I found my early adopters through that, and they were the ones who pushed me to move forward with the business. And then, of course, finally secure funding. That was the end of 2019, secure funding, March of 2020. And then everything just went kaput. So then it was like 2 years of overcoming, all the money that we had spent gone because delays and backlogs and contaminated material and due to all of these supply chain issues, and just continuing to figure it out. And really, I think, Anna, when you asked like how did I go from being a ghostwriter to starting this business, the common theme is like figure it out, right? Like when I was writing these op-eds in DC, it was like how do we figure out how to make this issue important to a lot of people?
Mm.
What's the thing that's gonna connect? And so I was constantly researching these topics and themes and like history and like, okay, how can we make this relatable? And I think it's that same, I don't know, curiosity that sort of fueled this phase of my career, because as you pointed out, I don't have a background in science, and I have never run a product-based business company before. And in a lot of ways it shows, like I'll be the first to admit I've made a lot of mistakes, but I think it's really important, if you believe in something, you can't wait for someone else to do it, right? You can't wait, because who knows? And who knows how many people you might inspire along the way. So I
Yeah.
forget what the question was, but
no, but kudos, because there are some people that say, man, I wish it was better for plastic at the beach, and they would have stopped there.
Yeah.
And you like you said earlier, you went the step further so you can create a better place for
Mm-hmm.
that's huge. I don't even know what the question was anymore, but I just loved what you just said and shared, and I'm like,
I think it was mostly I just wanted to dig into your story a little bit more because
yeah,
which thank you for sharing even more kind of about the process of what brought you to kind of where you are today, because people would have, I know a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of other people would have just given up at some point. Like when you
yeah,
said 2020 hit, right? And the whole world is shutting down and your supply chain issues and then losing the funding that goes
right,
along away with that. And just all those like massive things that you didn't just let it knock you over as a business owner. You kept going. And that's what the conversations, right?
yeah,
You're bringing 4 tips to keep us sane. And if there's a story that showed somebody who had to persevere through challenge after challenge after
right,
challenge from the start of, I have no idea what I'm doing, but guess what? I'm going for it all the way to
right,
where you are now. Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's that anyway. So there wasn't really a question other than how long had you been in business? Now we know, but
yeah.
let's,
And I
let's
do want to say that I did try to quit, actually.
ooh,
So I tried to quit in 2021. We had been anticipating going to production with the toys finally after, all of these delays. And sorry, 2022. And my mom got sick and died of COVID early 2022, January
Oh my
2022.
goodness.
And the same time, there's like another issue. I mean, countless issues, but this was sort of like, okay, there was a colorant issue. We're going to be delayed again. I've had people waiting with their pre-orders for these stupid beach toys for 3+ years at this point. And I said, I don't think this is ever going to happen. And I'm exhausted and I can't do this anymore. And I sent an email to all of my pre-order customers and I said, I don't know if this is ever going to happen and I'm going to refund your money. I'm trying to get out. I'm trying to say, I tried, I'm sorry, take it back. And instead of people getting their money back and asking for their refunds, I got slews of emails like, I don't care if I never see this beach toy, I want to see you get this done. Or consider this a donation, keep going. We support you, keep going. That was like the consistent message throughout. I could not give one person a refund on their pre-order for these beach toys. So I thought, okay, like I have something here, but I didn't have it in me. So I called on a friend of mine, Marine Corps military spouse, who had lived here similarly to you two. We met here on island. We had overlapping interests. We started our own company, different company, marketing communications. And she has been a best friend, a sister, a supporter. And she knows this business in and out because she had heard all of my ups and downs, supported me in my darkest times. And I told her, Heather, I don't think I can do this anymore. And she said, okay, like I'm coming in, like, let me take over. And she did the things that for me were really hard, that felt really hard, like calling my manufacturer again when there was another mistake, when there was another hiccup. And she just did it. She just got in and did it. And she got me through that moment where I really wasn't sure if I had it in me to keep the business going. So I'm giving away one of my tips, but right people around you, having
Yeah.
the right people is
I
so
think that's a perfect
vital.
lead into the conversation,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
first of all, Heather's a new bestie. We're now like a
Yeah.
quadruplet
Yeah.
of the four of us at this point,
Yeah.
right? I love that. But second, that the people that supported you, like what a huge testament to just what you were trying to do and the support, like you were talking about, that customer support, making people care about an issue. You did that, and that nobody wanted their money back because you made them care about what you were doing more than the whatever dollar amount they'd given you at that point in time. That is amazing. Like that what could have been like a I failed in this area story equals this massive success. Even though you were trying to quit, they're like, nope, sorry, you don't get to do
Yeah,
that today, you
yeah.
know?
And that to me, it also said this is about way more than a beach toy. Because at this point, your 3-year-old is now 6, or your 6-year-old is now 9, and they're probably not as interested in those beach toys anymore. So that to me really showed, okay, there's more to this, right? This is no longer about the beach toy. This is about what we could do, right?
Yeah. So, okay. So if we're recapping really quick, because we didn't really follow the question like line, right? Which is totally fine because we don't do that very often on this show anyway. We would say that tip number one was, you said, surround yourself with the people that are going to be able to support you in the way you need, right?
Yeah, I would say like your network, your people, your tribe, whatever you want to say. But I think it's important because when you are an entrepreneur, you can have loads of friends, but if they are not also entrepreneurs, it's extremely hard to relate. So having the right network and prioritizing that network, like I will pick up the phone and I will call other entrepreneurs to just check in. Hey, how's it going? What's going on in the industry? Tell me how's business? Just, woman to woman, right? In these industries that tend to be male dominated, especially, like, how are you? Just to touch base, just so there's someone else out there that's with you, or someone like Heather, who just has seen it from behind the curtain and can really understand and support. I think finding community, and I also think that entrepreneur community is growing. I think we have a lot of growth in the small business sector. So there are ample opportunities for you to connect into one of those networks, particularly military spouse networks. So yes, so that would be, I guess, my tip number one.
Find your Heather. That's what you all need, guys. Find your Heather.
Everybody needs a Heather.
Everybody does. Everybody. That's my favorite tip. I don't even know what the others are, but I just think
we can just end it now.
We can just end it now, guys. I mean, because you
people
said it,
will
right?
be like, I want the other 3.
No, you just need a Heather, and I promise you, everything will be okay. No, because you're so right about when you mentioned, like, entrepreneurship is a very lonely kind of space sometimes. Especially if you're the only one running it, then you don't even have another person to bounce off why this prototype went this way, or why the copy on our website is not converting, or no, but your besties at the coffee shop are like, what'd you guys make for dinner tonight? And you're like, that's not where my headspace is.
And it's also important,
okay.
right?
Yes,
but
it is.
But we need the people that understand what it's like, to feel the full weight of the success of the business on your shoulders
100%.
alone. So,
Yes. Oh, that's so good. Okay. Tell us tip number 2, what we're going to call tip number 2. What's your tip number 2, Kate?
Okay. So tip number 2 is like a little bit more of a logistics factor. I think piggybacking off of number 1, if you can outsource any work, I would do it, because as an entrepreneur, I have learned that even though I think I can do all of these things and I could do it well, time is so crucial for my mental health, right? For my emotional health, for my physical health. Like, I need to have time in my day for me. And my mom used to say, I'd burn the candle at both ends. I would do all the things, be there for the kids, dinner, after dinner, they'd go to bed, and then I would stay up and keep working. I can't do that anymore. I need a team. And I have been able to outsource, and lovely coincidence, happy coincidence, all military spouses, which I'm really, really proud of. So I outsource, a lot of my PR. I work with Akers and Company, military spouse. She's fabulous.
We love Lindsay. We love
Lindsay's amazing.
Yes.
She's amazing. And also with Lauren Lonsdale, who's based in Japan, and she does Aura Digital Consulting. I have a virtual assistant with her. They do a ton of my social media, just to take those parts of my brain and be like, here, you can execute this. It does take a little time up front to say, here's what I want, here are our goals. And then you have a capable team that can hand this over. And I know you two know what I'm talking about. Capable team in the house right here, So I think anytime you can, and I know there are some financial constraints for entrepreneurs, and I respect it. And if you can prioritize any part of the business, and offload the rest, I think it does heaps and heaps for my sanity. So I would.
I'm gonna jump in here, and I'm gonna speak on behalf of Anna, because she knows. Anna, you said it right? Is that, like, when you get into it's like, I can do it. I can do this and this and this and this. And if I can do it, why do I need to pay somebody else to do it? But I really appreciate you saying, hey, like, it's this mental load that you needs to come off your shoulders a little bit, just so you can breathe.
Or I can do it, but it's going to take 6 hours, or it's going to take you 30 minutes, because this is what you do for your career. Right. So I think recognizing that, like, I can do it and I can save some money. I am not saving my time. And where can I spend that time that's going to help push the business forward?
And I think that's the key for me in agreeing to outsource where I can, right? I struggle with that. I want to do it myself because I know it's going to get done right. It's going to get done the way I want it to get done, right? Like that's a challenge I work on constantly. And so when we talk about this, the mindset I have to turn to is, first of all, that people have to become more important to me than the tasking does. And when I spend all my time finishing my tasks and I don't spend time on the people that need to have that time, now I'm doing a huge disservice to myself, right? In that sense. And that was that mindset shift I had to make to be able to say, I can offload this, I can offload this. And it's a process. I'm still like, okay, this year I'm going to do these two things I'm going to outsource. I'm not
I'm
ready for now.
so proud of you, Anna. Honestly, Kate, if you had seen her in year 1 to now year 10 million and 5, she's come a long way, and I'm really proud. Because I mean, but to be fair, it is hard to put your business in the hands of somebody else, right? So
100%. And I'm with you. And it has
yeah,
taken me, and probably not, maybe 1,000,005 years to get there, but it feels like that. And it's really been in the last year or so that I felt like, okay, like this needs to happen, and
Yeah.
I'm really happy that I did. I mean, I'm really, really happy because this team of women are doing things that I would struggle to do. I would have to research how to do and would take me a ton of time. And I don't want to spend that time anymore, especially when I have really bright, capable women who can do that. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Okay. Jump us into tip number
Okay.
3. What's your tip number?
Okay. Tip number 3, talking about time. I think it's really important to find spaces that are non work and play in those spaces. So I know, Anna, you were talking
Mhm.
about camping. Selena, you were talking about reality TV.
Right.
I think it's so important to like find the off switch, right? And go do something else. And remember who you are before and after this entrepreneurship journey. I find a lot of joy in doing those things that are non-Rogue Wave related because I think for me personally, when I am, entrepreneur hat on, I feel a little bit unsure, just kind of consistently, right? Because this is all new to me all the time. And when I get on the spin bike and I go teach a class, I am very confident in that space. When I go teach my Spanish class, I'm very confident in that space. And it feels good. And it's a reminder like, oh, I am good at these things. I am capable and I have other interests and I have other spaces that bring me joy. And it fills the cup. And then I can get back to work not feeling as exhausted, still kind of always exhausted, but not quite as exhausted,
Yeah.
right, as we can tend to feel. So I think for me it's really important. Find that joy wherever it is, that downtime or that however you recharge. And we have to prioritize that. We have to build it into the plan.
Yeah. I actually have on my Google Calendar a 30-minute time every day where it says I have to eat lunch. Because otherwise I'll work right through it. And I live
Yeah.
by my calendar, right? Like it's what the notification pops up and I say, oh, and I give myself permission to walk away from my desk for 30 minutes, and eat lunch. Whereas, but if I did not remind myself of that, I would find I work through the afternoon, right? Because sometimes you just get in that like zone of constant. But I love what you're saying because I think that even something small like that, right? Just stepping away for a few minutes or taking the dog for a walk at 10:30 in the
Mm-hmm.
morning, or whatever it is that you need to like take a deep breath and then you can come back to it. And I found, and I think you would, but this is part of what you're saying, is you come back stronger and ready to do what you need to do, as opposed to being like, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted and I'm still here and I've been here for 8 hours.
Yes,
Yes, yes.
exactly. And I forget the term, there's a psychological term for it when you're like doing something else and you're not thinking about the thing that's causing you a problem. And then all of a sudden,
Oh,
it's like, oh, I know how to solve that problem. I wasn't
right.
even thinking about it, but there it is. When we open ourselves up to other things, walking the dog, you're
Yeah.
outside, you're getting fresh air, seeing the sunshine, the trees, the flowers, and then suddenly there's like, oh, I know what I'm going to do now. There's a term for it, but when we can like give ourselves that opportunity to just like stand
Yeah.
up a little taller, take deeper
Yeah.
breaths, be aware,
Yeah.
remember that we
Yeah.
are here, and that is such a privilege to just be here in this
Mhm.
day, in this moment. I
Yeah.
think it's really important, bigger picture.
I love
No,
that.
so true. Because I think when we're working, right, we're so hyper focused that our blinders are like straight ahead sometimes. So your advice on finding a space, sometimes we then go like this, and we're fully just kind of taking all that stuff in. So I definitely need to do more of what you're saying, and I'm doing that after this recording. Me and the kid are gonna
More
go and
playtime.
we're gonna go get some boba tea, and we're gonna just have a minute, and then we're gonna come back and I'm gonna work. But okay,
Perfect.
I love
still the
that.
find your Heather is still my favorite tip so far. So okay, last tip, Kate,
All
last
right.
tip, yeah,
Last tip.
Okay, last tip. For me, this is really important because it's really easy to get discouraged. So for me, it's remember my why. Why did I start this business? Why did I think this was so important? And I actually have physical reminders of it. So as you mentioned, we have lots and lots of plastic. So this is a jar full of microplastics that I collected off of Kailua Beach, just right here in our backyard, in a like 20-minute quick cleanup. This. Okay, there's like, I think I counted, there's like over 2,000 pieces. We did like a giveaway or something. There were over 2,000 pieces in this jar. And then this one, which is, so like for reference, this is like the size of my AirPod, smaller. This is little teeny tiny, oh, you can't see it, microplastics, also collected from the beach.
Wow.
A friend of mine has created a system where you can separate the natural debris like sand from man-made debris like plastics. And when he showed us this, and he actually has smaller samples too, I mean, it looks like sand. I don't think we're getting a good visual of it. But anyways, I keep these right on my desk, right where I can see them,
yeah. And we're
because
going to ask Kate to take a picture of that, and
Mhm.
we'll have
okay,
that on our website because I would love to see that like
Yeah.
just clear too. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah,
yeah.
no. I think it's so, I get discouraged a lot for
Mm.
lots of reasons. Our policies, large corporations that definitely have the ability to work a better material into their supply chains at scale, whereas I'm trying
Yeah.
to create scale from a teeny tiny sliver.
Yeah.
Really easy for me to get discouraged with sales, or social media is not hitting, or nobody's reading my emails, or you name it, right? Like there's something every single day. But this visual representation of why I'm doing what I'm doing helps get me back into focus. Like, okay, yes, that sucks. That's hard. Now get back to work,
Yeah.
right? We have to, the mission is bigger than whatever complication has arisen today, because it's literally every day, as you know.
Yeah. It's almost like that little jar is the representation of all those words of encouragement you got when you said, I'm done with this. And that little jar, every single one of those little pieces of microplastic is somebody saying, nope, you're not, because there's a bigger reason behind why you decided to take this journey. So you're not allowed to give up right now, right? Like
I
you
love
have a
that.
mission and here you are, right? Like anyway, I kind of adore you, Kate. Like
Oh,
you're
thank you. I want to
yeah.
caveat this and just say, like, for anyone that's watching and listening and considering starting a business, I don't want anyone to think that I think that I've got this all figured out and here are my 4 tips and like it's just that easy. Like, it is hard. Starting a business is hard. Whatever space you're in, it's hard. But I
Mm,
think if you can keep coming back to why it matters to you, finding your community, and taking care of yourself, I think you can get it done, right? Whatever the mission, whatever the idea you have, it's, even if it seems insane, because trust me, when I was telling people back in DC that I was going to start a beach toy company that would compost, people were like, "Are you okay?" Like, okay, that makes no sense. Like, she's a writer. What is she talking about? It made more sense when I moved to Hawaii, and people were like, "Yeah, we need that because this is on our beaches," right? No matter how crazy the idea, if it's your idea for a reason, and you at least owe it to yourself to just feel it out, just to feel it out. It will be hard, but you can do it.
Mm. So here's the thing. You're right. Like, we come here and we're like, let's give you 4 tips, right? And somebody might be like, oh, okay. But the power of the tips, it comes with your story, Kate, right? Like these are learned experiences that have helped you continue to that next step, despite the challenges and the failures and the fallbacks and the setbacks and the, all the things that where somebody else might, if they didn't have that strong why, that little bottle of sand, that community support that they built, then they might have given up, whereas you didn't. And I just want you to know that's what qualifies you to be able to come here today and say, I got some things to share with people, because you didn't stop, right? So give yourself
Yeah.
a little bit of pat on the back, like,
Thank you.
seriously.
Yeah, you're calling out my imposter syndrome, Anna. I love it. I need that.
No,
Thank you.
yeah, yeah.
No, thank
We'll
you.
we'll send this
Thank you.
soundbite so you just have that part, Kate, so you can just play it when you're feeling down and be like, "That's
Yes.
right, I did this. I am
Lived
the expert."
experience. That's right.
You know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
that was so good. I love that, and everything Anna just said, Kate. Thanks for holding on and sticking
Mhm.
with it, and I again a testament to what you've created and that people believe in you and they don't want you to give up. I mean, to all the signs, they're like, nope, don't exit, just keep going, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
totally
Thank you.
qualifies for 4 tips of your shared experience with others,
Right.
for sure.
Probably way more than 4, but I love the 4 that you
I
came
know.
with.
Yeah.
Like, and we'll sass it up a little bit. It'll be like, find your Heather, and
Oh
and
yeah.
get your grains of sand of
Yeah.
microplastics, and get your
Yeah.
microplastics on your desk. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll go,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
All right. So
Okay,
let's
let's
tell everyone where to find your business and all the
Yep.
fun things like that.
Yep.
Yeah, so you can, if you're here on Oahu, you can actually find us in a couple of stores on North Shore at the Kukua General Store, in Waimanalo Farm Stand, and right here in Kailua at the Tradition Coffee Shop. And if you're not on Oahu, you can head to our website, which we have right here on this screen, and you can get our beach toy made with compostable plastic. I got it right here. It is sturdy, it's legit, it's the real deal. And I didn't show you guys this, but this is what it turns into. So this is our compost. I can compost this in my countertop composter. I have a Lomi, but there are others that you can use. And we just put pieces of the toy in, and overnight it turns into compost alongside our
Overnight.
banana peels and lettuce. And yeah, so if it's being composted in a composter like that, it'll be overnight. Otherwise, it's going to take, depending on where it is, more or less time. But yeah, so you can purchase them over there on the website. And then we have the promo code. So if you are a listener or a viewer and you use the 15-minute code, you'll get $10 off your order.
Thank you so much, Kate. That's so exciting. And I didn't even stop and think to ask about the science. We're going to have a conversation offline, because this
another
fascinates
show.
me.
Yeah, no, there's going to be another show about science. I'm just going to come attend. It's not my strong suit. So, but no, I love that. So, Kate, tell everybody where they can find you. Where do you hang out on the social media world? All the things.
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram. I'm mostly on Instagram, TikTok as well. Obviously, website, come and see us on the website. And then through the website, you can sign up for our emails, where I like to write. I still like to write and give my view on lots of things, like how I think that the organic food movement was the precursor to all our alternative materials market. So yeah, so you can find us any of these channels.
Yeah.
Facebook too, not as active on Facebook, but yeah, Instagram is where we're mostly hanging out.
Got it.
Awesome.
Once a writer, always a writer, Kate.
I know, I can't shake it.
You and Anna are kindred spirits. Anna is the fellow copywriter of our duo.
I love your topic. So you just got a new email subscriber, and I promise I will be reading them, because this is it fascinates me. What you're talking about just fascinates me from a personal perspective, right? So I am one of those people that went, gosh, wouldn't it be better if, right? And did nothing about it. And so I love what you're doing. Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, one more thing, because I know we're trying to wrap up, but I do want to say, like, you don't have to start an alternative materials business to make it better. You can do one small thing every day, right? It doesn't have to be life-changing. You don't have to start a business. You can say no to plastic shopping bags. You can
oh my gosh,
not buy things you don't need anymore. You can buy, clothing made with natural fabrics. I mean, there are lots of small things that you can do as a consumer that
Uh-huh.
do not involve starting a business to just
Right.
help a little bit here and there, which really do, all of these choices really do add
Yeah.
up. So, and even if
Or
nothing's too small, don't count
we'll
yourself
have
out.
Yeah, we'll have to do some kind of collab article on our website about like,
Mhm.
hey, this is Kate from Lori. She's going to teach you how to be a better person in the world. And I will tell you, okay, being from Hawaii, and Kate is in Hawaii, as we all know, you have to bring your own shopping bags everywhere you go. There's no shopping bags or you pay for paper bags, if you need it, right? So coming back to the mainland, where if you walk in with your own reusable bag, everybody's like, what are you doing?
What? Yeah. Yeah.
And so, oh, I love those. Oh, see, this could be another show, whole nother show. I Okay, so Anna usually ends our show, but I like want to really thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming on today, sharing the fabulous 4 tips, and then just your story, the whole thing. It's been so lovely, and I just thank you for allowing me to connect back with my home. Just knowing that
Oh,
you're not even probably a mile away from my mom, who's probably having coffee in her dining room with my stepdad, and just watching the traffic go by. So I love that.
thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Kate, I also want to say thank you for being our guest today. We just want to remind everyone to find the links to all the things we've talked about today. Head to annandselena.com/blog. We always do a show notes section where you can find Kate's information and all the things. Also, come and find Selena and I at annandselena.com. We hang out mostly on LinkedIn, which is our favorite place, but you can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, or your favorite podcast platform. We cannot wait to see you at the next 15-ish minute coffee chat. Have a good day.
Oh my gosh. Did they actually make it to the outro music?
I told you this would work, Selena.
Okay. Well, thanks for tuning in to today's show. Now head on over to annaandselena.com to listen to more of the 15-ish minute coffee chat. We've got over 100 episodes, all geared to making your businesses more fun and profitable.